Titi, so Usha demonstrations, right? Memo, right? Memo, a clear instance na yati asiye. Inti demonstrations, the essence of demonstrations, and yes, say cross streets ne so keke.
Yeah.
Ako show our display whatever. No, and yes, sir. But demonstrations are supposed to bring certain results, right? Okay. Inti it is only makoso bo dam no.
Aye.
Right. We say the dam is a wall. Yeah, they are blocking no. Right, but insuno you can't block insuno keke. Until with time, nobody will say insuno pressure no build it up. Say a drew level be a and yes safer. Now only be sa gates I want your friend is spill gates no. Until you be sa gates so now insuno yes. It is a levels no and now say pressure no former no more two gates anymore. Then the whole process starts again. Right. This is the same thing as what's happening with demonstrations. But when say demonstrators no, and I say demonstrations no, according to say the water behind the dam. So on my mona say nyaman koye no, we say pressure no a building until we say ebufu aba, frustrations aba. And once that thing is building up no, it's a drew stage be you don't open the gates so you bet to me a blow. On my no bet to me a ball. Yes. Until what they do is say tensions no reach levels no, which is dangerous no. Not much they be spill gates, and the spill gates here are demonstrations. Until you see, sir, after demonstrations no, nothing really changes. Until but people have come, they've expressed their anger and by charge chobo in this animal, then everything goes down quiet. Then we wait for the next demonstration. Until demonstrations that we have in Ghana have become like the spill gates of a dam. Someone say pressure not control too much, no, and I say chroma shit too much, no. Nobody back up too. And then you know all the energy goes away, then people become calm again. And see, so the biggest demonstration we've had in Ghana. Yes, say Mampini or Lydia, the Kumi Preko demonstration. I say it's the biggest, most useless demonstration in the history of Ghana. Yes. I say this again. Me say Kumi Preko demonstration was the biggest, most useless demonstration in the history of Ghana, and I explain why. Titi, the issues we're fighting at Kumi Preko demonstrations, they were fighting against VAT.
Yeah, VAT.
But VAT's not the last time I saw was 17.5.
Yes. They say
almost they were fighting against unemployment. Titi, what is the state of our unemployment situation today? Almost say high cost of living. Titi, are those not the same issues you are dealing with right now? And to bringing all those people onto the streets and marching, what difference did they make? You get my point? So I'm saying Kumi Preko demonstration was the biggest, most useless demonstration in the history of Ghana. But I'll show you one demonstration in Ghana, which was the most effective demonstration. Now, that demonstration, you need 3 pen or more, and that's the Economic Fighters League. Time our so-called parliament say, Omugo see new parliamentary chamber. Only 3 people stopped that event from happening. They saved the taxpayer $200 million from being wasted on a new chamber. It was only 3 people. Titi, I would choose that kind of demonstration over what we saw happening on the streets. Occupy Julobi, what was the event? What was the objective after that demonstration? Then I achieve. But only 3 people were able to march into parliament and shut down the attempt of the parliamentarians to build a new chamber that was going to cost the Ghanaian taxpayer $200 million. So we're looking at quality and competence. Quality and competence as compared to quantity. And so you can have a demonstration where there'll be so many people who come on the streets, but there'll be no effect after.
Okay, let's limit it to this angle. Once a chamber no, no, a parliament. I'm not disputing the fact that any part acquired na omusa.
The point too.
Let me derail.
I'm come to that. I'll explain the time
also. Because also we no how to do with unemployment. Unemployment today the whole Ghana, but chamber ne there. Chamber is parliamentarians in the hall. So facing them directly, I think I know they say
unemployment is parliamentarians that give the order for anything to be done in Ghana. It is a best new factory cry. Parliamentarians or member finance ministry.
You prefer they should have occupied the parliament house?
No.
Rather than the streets?
No, that's what I mean.
Okay.
So I was coming to this. Yes.
All right.
So in America, the Million-Man March that was organized by Martin Luther King. It's one of the biggest demonstrations we've had in America, right? But again, what was the effect of that demonstration? Dabe na yekun George Floyd. And the Million-Man March was done in the 60s. And we're fighting against the very same thing that happened in 2020. Yekun George Floyd. So what was the essence of having 1 million people marching on the streets? And it's bringing me to my point. There's a difference between mobilization and organization.
Okay.
Right. Mobilization is the spontaneous reaction to a perceived injustice. Nti SMBSC anya there. Nti chobo na obi aba streets no so. But within a few hours na obi akofie. That's mobilization. But organization, they say we identify an objective. You know, the energy, efforts in our to the attainment of that objective, and nobody goes anywhere. Nobody does anything until those objectives are met. That's the difference between organization and mobilization. So, all the events that have happened in Ghana in the name of so-called demonstrations, no, it has been mobilizations. And see, even if it's three days, 1 week, or even a month, and nothing is achieved after that event, it was a loose mobilization. But organization, that's what got Ghana's independence. And so we didn't just go on the streets to chant independence. No, that's not how it was. No, but we had a clear plan. There was organization of the masses. We're working in units on the ground. And it was not just a one-day event. That thing continued until Ghana on the 6th of March 1957. That is organization. So what could have these guys done better? I'm going to say occupy Julobi House. That's a good catchy phrase, right? Yeah. But look at it. They never went near the Flagstaff House, never. Because
the police prevented them.
Which is, you can predict these things. And see, if you say you're going to have a demonstration, which is occupy Julobi House, and you know very well, say, that place will be told to you, say, it's a security zone, so do not allow you go there.
But former President Mahama, we had a demonstration occupy Flagstaff House. They went to the Flagstaff House.
But they didn't occupy it. You see, if you go to the square and go and make noise and you go home after, you don't occupy the place. I was thinking, sir, going forward, what we have to do is
what I want us to clear is that they were given opportunity to enter and present their petition. But in this case, they were prevented.
So that's what I'm saying. So I'm drawing people's minds. It's not just submitting your petition that is the essence of demonstration. Because they all submit a petition and the problem is still persistent. What have you done? Okay. So I'm saying we want solutions, results. And so what they should have done is, Titi, if you're complaining about MPP, NDC being the problem, which means you are the solution, right? Or you have the solutions. And so I would have wanted to see an organization, Yemba out together, form that nucleus or that driving unit, which will be capable of managing the affairs of this country and stop the noise. And to say, if NDC is not good, MPP is not good, who next? If you ask that question right now, you find out there's a big gap. But fortunately, there's a group of young Ghanaians who are competent enough to handle the affairs of this country. And we are saying, we can't do this alone. According to say, football, right? 11 players no be called pitch no so. But without their supporters in the stands and at home watching, no, that team cannot perform. So we have that team that is ready to play the game, that knows and understands how to play this game. But we cannot do this without the millions of youth of Ghanaians. And so we are saying this. Before anyone goes onto the streets to join any protest or any demonstrations, ask yourself this first question. Then need your objective. What are we looking to solve with this demonstration? Now, if you're just going onto the streets for how many days, whatever number of days, but after that, you know, the problem is going to be there. Don't waste your time going. But if you know, say, yeah, cost streets, no, so it be a 1 week, 1 month, and at the end of that 1 month, no, then by all means, make sure you're part of that action. So that is what I'm saying to the Ghanaian youth right now. Memma obi mbase obe you see your frustrations to capitalize on you and you take it for granted. Don't allow that to happen. What we need right now is let us come together, form that unified block, and together we can get results and not just demonstrations. We need results.
So you side with Mr. Logic?
No, I don't. I didn't even listen to that interview. And you cannot call Ghanaians expressing their right foolish. No, that's not what you do. What was he doing? What was he? Has he added his voice to any of the plights of Ghanaians? So what I'm saying is, after demonstration, people don't have jobs still. People are still in poverty as it is. So what was the difference before the demonstration, after the demonstration? No clear difference. But what we need to do right now is that I'm saying we need results. And to say, streets, we have to make sure, say, before streets, we identify what is it that we want. By the time we leave the streets, we must make sure, say, otherwise nobody is going anywhere. If we have to stay on the streets for a month to get what we want, let us stay on the streets for a month. But don't go and waste all that time on the streets and come back without getting what you're looking for in the first place. That's what I'm saying. And see, back to to wrap up, back to the damn thing. System no, I say yes, like I said, say pressure no cost to be. If they don't allow it to spill out, be to me see. And see, they give us the opportunity to go ahead and do some of these things. But what's the difference between demonstrations in Ghana and the demonstrations, for instance, like the Arab Spring?
Yeah.
If you look at Ghana's demonstrations, we gather at a point, and then we'll move, or another, and we call it a procession. That's what Ghana demonstrations are like. But if you look at other jurisdictions where demonstrations have worked, demonstrations were not processions. Demonstrations were stand-downs, or if you like, standoffs. And instead of say, what's the name of that place? Odo Park, and there was Obra Sport. So you gather Obra Sport. Now you're Nantia ko Ebia Independence Square. Titi time I drew Farisco Junction Puna Aman for Abre, because you are in the heat of the sun, you are walking. Until by the time we drew on Aman for Pentem Crash on Bekufi. But look at what happens in other jurisdictions, particularly the Arab Spring. So your venue of the demonstration, maybe I say yeah demonstration no Independence Square. Titi, see will be Nantia Bahon no, we focus straight to Independence Square. And to say Independence Square no for 1 week, we'll be at the Independence Square for 1 week. Nobody's going nowhere. That is where you can have the real results. She said, yeah, no, it's our procession, no, no. You meet at the point, we converge at the point. You be Nantia or one destination. No, me say, and so now we drew half of that journey in Pona, Aman. But with the Arab Spring, there, no, who fuck off if you know, who back straight to the venue point. Nobody's going nowhere. You sit there. What do the musicians do? So it's now for a very long time. I'm for break. It becomes boring. Until Obuma speeches no 2, 3, 4 no. Now musicians now back. Then we have entertainment in there. So the people are entertained. You recharge them. Now speeches now babim. So they speak directly to their issues and they make sure they don't do anything else until the results are gotten. But in Ghana, no, you say we are after the end of the day. You say adiasanona yokofie. If it's the next day, you back the next day. So, but at the end of the period, no, so back who says okay, have our objectives been met? No. Has anything changed? No. And see, what was the essence of that demonstration? Just to bring people on the street to come and vent. Again, the youth of Ghana should not allow themselves to be used by any of these groups for their personal interests. There be. Before you go or you decide to join in demonstration on the streets, no, understand the objectives of that demonstration. Okay. And make sure, sir, by the time you leave that demonstration grounds, no, the results have been gotten. That is what a proper demonstration is supposed to be.